Welcome back, everybody, to the Pro League here live in the Nexon Arena. My name is Valdez. I'm joined by Moonglade, and we're going to jump straight into introductions of our players for game number 3. This is soO. He's a Zerg player. He's really strong against Terran. He once was the strongest Zerg in the world, one of the most consistent, at least. He was getting second place in pretty much everything, but he has fallen off a little bit. But he's trying to make that comeback.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of 5 second places in a row will do that to your soul eventually, Valdez. That is something you take to heart and you take a lot of damage from, man, mentally. And he kind of did have that bit of a breakdown at the end. He just couldn't, he stopped winning games. He started playing very bad, and he needed that break, and he's had that break. And now he's back again, and he's going to make us all happy once again. He's going to get second place again. Hopefully not in Pro League. Hopefully he leaves that for Star League or something else.
Yeah, man. Well, here is YoDa. This guy is 4-4, 0-1 against Zerg. And we were talking about how he was pretty strong against Terran. This guy is actually 4-0 against Terran. And if you think about that, that's kind of what Innovation was against Protoss before today. So definitely strong in that matchup.
Yeah, he's fantastic against Terran, but I mean, his TVZ is another thing. It is something that I am very curious to see how it's going to work out. If he's going to go for maybe a little bit of a Hail Mary here and go for a proxy 2 racks or something like that to kill soO, as soO has been a little bit weak against that in the past. It is going to be on King Sejong though, so I kind of question if that will ever happen.
Yep. This was the one prediction I was not 100% sure about, but let's jump into that game regardless. It's game number 3, soO versus YoDa. Down here in the bottom right, in the orange for SK Telecom T1, it is soO.
And up here in the top left for Prime, it is YoDa. YoDa recently losing in the IEM World Championship qualifiers to Set3, 2-0. That is his most recent TVZ result, not the best. And he also got bopped by Life and TY in the GSL round of 16 Group B.
Yeah, that's not too surprising to me. I mean, everybody gets bopped by Life, and TY, he's pretty decent in that TVT matchup. So even though YoDa, he's pretty strong. You were actually talking about how it's possible that YoDa didn't face the best or strongest Terran players with those 4 wins.
That is right.
I would actually like to see those stats and see exactly who he lost to.
Yeah, I can't
or
remember.
who he won against.
I can't remember exactly who he played against. I mean, we can look at soO's results. I put them down because I'm a completely biased fanboy for soO in general. He beat Cure and Maru and YoDa already.
That's pretty insane.
In Pro League this last round, so that's a pretty good start.
Cure, in fact, doing better than Maru did in the first round of Pro League. He went 5-2, Maru went 4-3. So Cure kind of being that ace Terran for round number 1 for Jin Air. And soO able to defeat both him and Maru. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that is very impressive. It shows that he's still got what it takes. Sometimes. He's been a little bit inconsistent.
Occasionally.
Against Protoss, for instance, he has, lost, I think, all his games in Pro League. So, it's a bit of an up and downhill. He's going for that 15 pool. He's playing it super safe. Super duper safe.
Yeah. And it's a pretty good idea. I mean, 2-player map. You're playing against a guy you are pretty favored against. Just play it safe. No reason not to. Do you see that SCV scout coming out here? Nothing coming out of that Rax just yet. There's the Reaper, finally.
Yeah, very standard sort of opening from our friend YoDa. We're going to be giving that Reaper expand. And we are seeing that 15 pool expand from soO. And it's not a bad idea. soO, he, as I said earlier, he has been weak against proxy Raxes in the past. This map is, I guess, less likely to see it, but it can still happen. And he should be very safe for this opening, especially against a Reaper. You're going to get that a Queen out very quickly. You're going to have those 4 Lings out before anything else.
Yeah. Reaper shouldn't get any damage down, and may even be able to deny some scouting with that Queen. see where the Reaper goes. It looks like it's moving towards the right side, but it's not going to go. It's just going to stop any scouts that come his way.
Yeah, you know why? Because the SCV saw the Zerglings. He's like, okay, I see Foldings. I know you're going to be trying to do a bit of a run around, get to my command center, try and delay that for as much as possible. So instead of harassing with this Reaper, he's just going to wait for the Lings. And this is a really great idea. I mean, because he did get that scout, he knows what to do and what to expect.
Yeah. 2 Lings out on the map right now over at the Watchtower. Haven't really moved from there just yet. We're seeing YoDa pretty standard still back at the base. He's got that reactor up. He's going to make some Marines. Going to switch that, make some Hellions. And go for some harass here. Do you see that CC finishing up? Getting an extra queen here out of soO. So maybe just one creep queen for now. One creep queen.
Yeah, man. That's exactly it.
Ooh, second command center coming out here for YoDa. So we're seeing this kind of greedy 3 command center build out of him.
I think we might even see a Starfort as well. So we might actually see Hellion Banshee opening. It's usually the standard with this kind of build, and it does kind of add to safety when you get those Banshees out. It kind of helps you deal with any sort of roach attack that might be coming early to damage this kind of greedy opening.
Marine King yesterday, he was able to do a very similar build. Just go very greedy, get a ton of SCVs very fast, and go for that kind of greedy Terran on this build. On this map, he was actually able to defeat Lenok here. So kind of winning when he was unfavored. I think it was like 1-6 or something crazy like that before that game.
Yeah, I remember that. I saw that. It was pretty disappointing from Lenok. He just didn't really find any traction in the game. He was playing against someone who... He was playing a game against a very passive Terran, and he didn't really adapt to it. Instead, just playing his normal Mutiling Bane and not finding any openings. Then he got to that 4 base and he just died. So I think soO is kind of the opposite when it comes to this kind of style. soO will probably adapt a lot better and go to the late game a lot easier. He's very comfortable when it does get to that late game, when it gets to the more of the mechanic focus. And we are seeing Hellion harass already.
Ooh, and a lot of these drones bunching up. Some decent shots getting down, but you have the Speedlings out as well as 2 Queens are going to push him out. Not that much damage being done here. Reaper does get into the main.
Yeah, did they actually kill any? I don't think they might have killed like 1.
They got 1, yeah.
Okay.
1 drone.
1 drone. Not worth 2 Hellions, I don't think, this early on. It's going to give Zerg the map control. You
know what he did is actually, with that, he drew a lot of the units down to the natural, and he got a full scout of the main base. So that's at least one thing that he did gain from that.
Yeah, it's a little something. I mean, he knows now that it's going to be very fast mutas. That is the one thing he knows, because it is very delayed sort of 3rd base and a very quick lair. So that's kind of the standard these days. It's either going to be the standard sort of fast 3-base Zerg against a greedy Terran opening, or it's going to be that very quick 2-base Spire into a delayed 3rd base. Kind of to take that map control, deal with anything that might be coming your way early.
Even a scan coming down in the main base. That Spire is at the natural. And with 2 of these Queens out here, he's actually going to defend. Actually, 3 of them. He's going to push that Banshee away. So, in fact, YoDa is not going to see that Spire. But like you were saying before, he can reasonably assume that this is the build that soO is going for. He just wants to see it with his own eyes.
Yeah, and looking at what we have so far, I get the impression that we are going to see Bio from this. Or at least, sorry, not Bio, Mech. But it might even be Biomech at this point, because we are seeing Reactor Marines. But Thor's being made as well. No Marine upgrades. We're actually seeing Mech upgrades coming in here. So it's kind of an interesting build order we are seeing from YoDa.
Yeah. He's flying out that 3rd base. He's going to start making a turret now as well. He's definitely noticed the fact that no other units, he knows that the Spire is out now. And he's getting those turrets out here. He's also got 1 Viking for the defense. And that door is going to be really useful as well. So units shouldn't be able to find too much damage as long as the units are in place.
Very interesting opening we are seeing from YoDa. I'm curious to where this goes from here. He's finally stopped Marine production, so he is just going to be adding more factories and going to full mech from this point. But he does have a lot of Marines kind of to help out early on. It's going to really help out against his muta harassment, especially to kind of help buffer for this Thor. We just won't be able to magic box it or anything like that. And we're even seeing 2 turrets in or at least the natural mineral line. But in the other bases, there's only 1. And let's see if soO has kind of realized at this point. He is going for ranged attack and carapace. So I think he has realized at this point it is going to be that mech style.
He's also taking a 4th base here pretty quickly. So he wants to get the economy going. He wants to get the necessary tech, and he's doing just that. So nicely identified by soO. And we're going to have a bit of a longer one here.
Yeah, we are. King Sejong, man, it's always a big, juicy macro game that we do see on this map. In TVZ at the very least. And yeah, I don't think he's going to find really anything with these mutas. Everything's essentially on lockdown. It'd be great if he can actually get a gas this early on. Slow down the mech production as much as you can. But even then, like, what are we going to see? I think we're going to see maybe a Swarm Host this early on. Yeah, there we go. Swarm Host is going to be on the way. And not a bad choice. It's going to really force out a lot of tanks that maybe YoDa didn't want to make this early on. Maybe YoDa was kind of preparing for more of a Hellbat Thor attack window. But when there's Swarm Host on the map, you just simply can't fight into that.
Yeah, he's going to be needing to make a lot more tanks here. He's only gotten 2 so far. 2 Thors out here as well. soO doing a decent job of already saturating that 4th base. Also taking a 5th base in the middle of the map. He's gone up to now 87 drones. So he's going to have a booming economy here to back this up. And this is exactly what you need to do against Mac. You need to get this early and fast.
Yep, you got to try and get as far ahead as you can because the mech army is the most cost efficient by far. So you want to have that healthy bank, that healthy economy, be able to trade if you have to, but remax if you have to as well.
Also, the mech army, you know, it takes a long time to build up. It's very expensive. So the Terran is usually very, very passive for a long time until they do get that army. So you have a lot of time here to just go out for all of these bases, for all of these techs, pretty safely. I mean, the only real harass that we sometimes see, not really anymore, is like Hellbat drops.
That is something that could be pretty useful. Obviously, that muta opening makes it a little bit harder, but maybe when the mutas have been thinned out a little bit more, we will see a lot more of that, considering there's no static defense at any of these bases. If there was Hellbat drops, maybe 1 or 2 at a time, you could really start messing with the Zerg's economy.
Bunch of CCs being made right now. He's really gearing up for that late game. Going to be making those into orbitals.
Yeah.
Get a lot more mules out of them.
If you can get this creep spread up to that middle part, that'll be so powerful. It's going to make it so much harder for the Terran to take that really important sort of middle ground that really opens up the map for them as well. We are seeing Swarm Host push everything back, trading pretty efficiently with the Marines and Hellions. There's really not enough tanks to push them back.
Uh-oh, what is this?
Oh, my God. What? We didn't see that.
Let's just pretend that didn't happen.
Nothing happened. Everything is fine. soO is playing fantastic.
Very interesting strategies being used here by soO. Losing 6 Swarm Hosts at this point in the game, not what you want to do.
Yeah, he could have really done a lot of damage here as well. That is a sickening mistake. Sickening, but he still has a lot of Swarm Hosts. He should still be able to do a bit of damage here. I mean, there's only 7 tanks now. Actually, that might be enough, especially with +2. It's going to remove the Locust before anything can really be focused down.
Maybe if he had, you know, 6 more Swarm Hosts, could be doing a little bit more damage.
Yeah, for HD, man. Big mistakes going on there. He's going to have to add some Vipers if he wants to start trading again. There isn't really any Vikings just yet. We are seeing more being made at this point. I think there's... Okay, we got 4 Vikings on the map, so... There's a little bit of a window there for Vipers to come and start abducting, start blinding, clouding perhaps the tanks and the planetary, so we can focus it down with the Lucas. If he can get that 4th base, he is miles ahead.
Do see now a 6th base being taken by soO. He's been at such a high number of drones for so long in the game. He's up at 100 right now, 99 to be exact. And he's also got 3 evolution chambers pumping out upgrades. He's getting Ultralists out here. More Swarm Hosts are donated in the middle of the map, and I thought more were on the way, but those are Locusts, thankfully, this time.
Well, 14 Swarm Hosts remain after the sacrifice.
After the sacrificial, too.
Yeah, this is actually just soO sacrificing Swarm Hosts to the gods, so he can win this game.
To the mech gods. For good luck, of course.
Yeah, you only get luck from throwing away units like that.
Yeah, you have to be humble, you know. You got to show that you're willing to give up to the gods, to give back.
Well, I mean, he got 2nd place 5 times for a reason, right? And we're seeing it right now. No,
Oh, God.
That's horrible.
Oh, God, Moonblade.
That is horrible. But he's still in a very commanding position. He's essentially taken every spare base on the map, which is a great way to spread creep and really delay anything else from the Terran. Though the Terran is on 4 base, he's on 8 gas, which is where you want to be as mech to kind of easily make that death ball going into the late game.
Yeah. You see soO taking the 2 extra bases that should be YoDa's. One of them will be canceled. The one on the left, I don't think has been scouted yet, so soO should be able to mine out some of the gas from there for a long time, the minerals as well. He's got these swarm hosts split up right now, in fact. He's got a bunch of them over on the right side and a couple of them over on the left side. Looking to push at the 4th base. I'm not sure what the locusts on the right side are really doing. I mean, there's not even a base there.
Yeah, I guess you're just double-checking, right? Like making sure that never gets up, which is not a bad idea. He's not really finding much traction here, sending Lucas to the mid. And we are seeing that Raven production now, which is the next dangerous step in this mech composition. It's going to mean that it's going to be so difficult for any sort of air units to get damage done to the Vikings or the Ravens because point defense drone. It's also going to mean that Seeker missiles are going to do a lot of work against anything on the ground, especially swarm hosts. It's going to force the Zerg out of position multiple times. It's going to give the Terran army a lot of positioning advantage and leeway where they normally wouldn't have. Still though, look at that bank. Look at that bank. My God, 7,000 to 3,000. He has a lot of room to, you know, throw away a couple of armies, throw away maybe a dozen more swarm hosts on move command, and still, you know,
let's hope that doesn't happen.
Pretty good. Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen.
I do see 5 Ultralists are out on the map here. I don't know if he's going to go for an engage. He can start breaking down these back rocks and open up another attack path. Looks like he is moving some of those swarm hosts over there, in fact, to do just that.
Yeah, I mean, if he has enough queens behind these ultras, he can tank a pretty big chunk of these tanks, especially if he gets some blinding clouds down as well. Still, it's when you have YoDa in such a position like this, it's so hard to break through. But I think with these extra bases, like the amount of extra bases that soO has at this point, his bank is just going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, he's going to be nearing the 10,000 mark if we don't fight here for a while. Those Ultralists do have the chitinous plating. Very armor-heavy units here. And he is mining that gas. He's got it well protected. He's actually sending locusts over there. And he has broken down the back rocks now, it seems. So, opening up that attack path. He is sending a big chunk of his army, in fact, over to the right side. Not sure exactly what he's going to get done with that.
Yeah, I think maybe he's going to try and get these tanks down here, maybe, perhaps. Like, there's this big chunk of tanks that are defending this new 5th base. And if he can get rid of this 5th base, it's a huge, huge victory for soO. It's like the next step in dealing with this one. Here we go. Ultra's going to come down, but man, that is a lot of firepower.
Well, a lot of these tanks are actually going to go down here. No battle cruisers in the mix just yet. He is making 2 right now, and all the tanks get cleaned up.
That is so important. You might actually be able to deal with this. Still 4 ultras remaining. Now locusts are going to be coming up. We are seeing the rotation of the rest of YoDa's army. You might get that filler planetary. Yeah, the
planetary just barely lives. Like 50 health and it gets repaired.
Yeah, 2 armor upgrades going to help out a lot with just tanking everything.
Those locusts actually weren't rallied for a bit here, so maybe if he had those, he would have been able to take down that planetary. He may still be able to, actually. It's pretty close. No, it has been repaired enough.
Now battle cruisers are on the way. The next step in YoDa's plan. He's still sitting pretty sweet despite his lack of bank. He's making that really powerful army. It's 3-3. It's looking fantastic. Securing this 5th base was also one of the biggest victories he could have had. It's going to be so difficult for soO to find the suitable army to deal with this at this point.
Yeah. I think he's got to utilize those back rocks over at the natural a little bit more. He could be sending like a huge swell of links possibly over there. There are some tanks, but not a lot. Most of his army is here at the front.
He's actually been reinforcing this quite a lot at this point. He's got 11 tanks there now. It looks like he's planning to deal with it. Yeah. Well, he's just like realized that he has to deal with this extra base that soO has down here. We are seeing the ultras rotate with a few queens, but man, what's he going to do about these battle cruisers? And all these ravens, there's like 8 ravens there at this point.
Yeah, Battlecruiser is doing a lot of damage here. That base should be able to go down pretty easily. I wonder if Su's actually going to fight this or if he's just going to let it go. He's breaking down the rocks over here, opening it up just another attack path.
Let's take it down, and that kind of gives the opportunity for YoDa to find another base and to expand once again, and that's the last thing su needs. Even though su has this insanely massive bank at this point.
Yeah, look at that bank. He's already at 10,000 gas. What?
It's the next question is, what do I make to deal with this? What can I possibly make to go through planetaries, mass Viking, Raven, and battle cruisers with Thor supporting and a lot of tanks to deal with anything on the ground? That is such a hard army to deal with, especially if they're just going to sit behind planetaries this whole time.
Yeah, he's going to sit behind planetaries. He's going to make more orbitals and just continue just throwing away his SCVs. He's down to 39 right now. Look at all the mules there at the mid base. It's going to get mined out pretty fast, actually. But he does have that base on the right side, and like you were saying before, he can open up that left side base eventually, although su has retaken it here.
Yeah. Well, it looks like su is just going to be waiting for now. You know, he's just finishing his upgrades. He's got his Greater Spire. I think he's got 3/3 flyers at this point as well. So I think he's just waiting for the Terran to move out so he can make that massive swell of whatever he needs to after he has an engagement.
The Swarm Hosts have to back out of there. So the Yamato Cannon's going to go down. 3 Swarm Hosts going to go down. Here we go. The attack's actually on while those battlecruisers are out of position. Attacking here with Lings, Locusts, and these Ultralists in the front to tank. Already one planetary is down, but the battlecruisers are coming back here.
Oh, the transfuses on these Yamato Ultralists keep him alive. He gets rid of the planetary. This is a great opening. How's he going to follow up, though? He's got a spare 60 supply at this point. What will you do, su? Show us the way, mate. Are you going to be making a lot of Corruptors behind this? I think that's one way to deal with this, though it is going to be a hard fight nonetheless, and it is going to be Corruptors.
Ooh, 29.
Okay. The R3-3, they are looking strong.
He's still got 10,000 gas, mind you.
Yeah. Man, that is a healthy bank.
It's pretty crazy. He makes 2 extra Overlords as well. Looks like he was only at 198 of 198, so got a remax, I guess.
I wonder if he's going to go for maybe the mass Spore cancel into a bit of a bigger army. He's still got a bit of a...
Could definitely be good.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a waste when it comes to like ground units because he still has a lot of Swarmos that he might not even need at this point. He just needs to make a kind of the army to deal with his air from YoDa.
Yeah, could definitely. And also, as we go a bit later, may want to start sacrificing some drones. He's still up at 86. That's a lot of drones.
Yeah, he could start getting rid of these as well. Just having a quick look at the saturation. I mean, he's still pretty healthily saturated at every base. He doesn't really need to get rid of them just yet. His bank's only going to get bigger and bigger. As we see about 6 scans go down, he sees the entire army. He knows, okay, you've gone hard counter Corruptor against this army I have. So he can play defensively again with this.
YoDa just wanted to see the entire map there.
Yeah. He's got to make sure he splits up these Corruptors. He's going to be fighting against 3 Thors as well in this mix. And it's going to be even trickier if he has to deal with Seeker missiles. Got to be microing pretty perfectly against them. And maybe even using them to his advantage if he can suicide some Corruptors into them.
Yep. Look at that. 8 Ravens. Our observer going over all the energy. Saw one there with 157. That's a lot of energy. 8 battlecruisers in the mix, as well as 12 Vikings to help out against the Corruptors.
Yeah, look at these scans. Very smart from YoDa. He's positioning himself so well. He knows exactly where they are. He knows whether he has to be careful or not. Whether he's going to be fighting a massive concave of Corruptors at any moment. All these things come into factor this stage of the game.
Some tanks moving on creep here. Going to take out a lot of these Spore Crawlers on the right side of the map. Going to have to deal with those soon. Suda's put some Swarm Hosts over here, so
yeah,
we'll have to back off.
You know, all these scans are kind of hurting YoDa at this point, too. Look at the bank. It's 3.5k to almost 6k. It's kind of a... It could be a little bit of an oversight for him, a little too ambitious with these scans. He does have a lot of orbitals regardless, but he doesn't have many SCVs anymore. Got to be careful.
Yeah, 28 SCVs. He's opened a lot of supply for his army, though, so his army is just insane at this moment in time.
Oh, man, look at this. He's building massive amounts of turrets at that mid-left base as well. He wants to secure it, and he wants to make sure Corruptors cannot go near his air army as well. That is going to be so difficult, and this might actually really open the game up and the map up to YoDa again.
More scans going down.
Oh, and he sees the Broodlords. Oh, this just makes things so hard.
60 larva built up by soO as well, so he can remax in pretty much anything here once he loses all these Corruptors.
Yeah, we're going to see 41 Corruptors in a moment. 41. Oh my, okay, so he wants to get rid of them this time.
Yeah.
All right.
Burrows them.
No judgment this time. It was all on purpose. He wants to get that perfect army, and I think, yeah, YoDa, like, it kind of gives it away. Like, that's one thing I wonder, like, do you really want to give it away that you're making this kind of, this death ball of Corruptor anti-air? Because, I mean, now that YoDa knows that he's like, well, I just have to stay on top of my turrets, and there's no way he can attack me, and I can take this extra base. If he had, like, secretly killed all those swarm hosts, didn't give away the information, it's just like, I feel like it's a bit more of an advantage than just throwing them away.
Yeah. You see some tanks over here. It looks like YoDa just trying to throw them away at this point, but he's going to take out the base, which is actually pretty decent here.
Oh, man.
He's going to get on creep. These Broodlords should be able to deal with those. I like using the tanks in this manner.
Yeah.
A bit better.
This is a much smarter way to deal with it, I think. And he's going to free up so much supply so we can make so many more battle cruisers. He's going to have so many Yamatos. And, man, he's just wiping out everything. 29 drones have gone down from these tanks. And I think the tanks at the back of that bottom left base of soO's doing so much damage.
Finally, some Broodlords get over there. Should be able to deal with this quite nicely, but down now to 21 drones. Not sure how soO feels about that. Well, he has remaxed and Corruptors, so he's going to stay there.
He's going to have a very insanely big army, but I mean, he's going to be fighting over a lot of turrets. We do see about 8 turrets at this new base in the mid-left that he's going to have to fly over and tank over while he's trying to kill this air army of YoDa's, which is, mind you, going to have full energy on every single Raven. So there's going to be so many point defense drones, and he's even adding even more turrets.
Because why not, you know?
Well, I mean, you're just dealing with this army, you know exactly what's coming your way because soO is giving him every bit of information that he needs.
He has 75 Corruptors.
And here we go.
What?
Here we go. Look at that concave. He's making sure he's got that concave, and he's going to be prepared to fly in once these Broodlords have done a little bit of damage.
Here we go, the concave is on!
Oh my god.
Corruptors coming down on everything. The battle cruisers being focused down. A lot of PDDs though. And there are the Seeker Misters blowing up a lot of the Corruptors in the back.
Oh my god.
But this is just way too many Corruptors.
This is way too many Corruptors. He's actually going to wipe everything out. Despite the disadvantage, despite tanking this many turrets, Thors, Yamato cannons, and Seeker missiles, he's going to get the job done.
75 Corruptors will do the job.
What a ridiculous fight. What a ridiculous fight.
He's going to remax here in more Corruptors, funnily enough. 28 on the way. 4 Mutalisks.
4 Mutalisks.
To deal with the tanks over there.
Yeah, it must be it, right? This is going to take out the natural hatchery. That's funny, yeah. Adding some Broodlords, good choice for this sort of situation.
8 Broodlords. Some Broodlords, Moonglade.
Wow. I guess you're right, yeah.
No, I'm just
no, you're completely true there, man. You're right as Wayne.
But look at this is really a story of the banks right now. I mean, soO trades everything away and he just remaxes easily, whereas YoDa, he's hurting on the mineral side of things.
Yeah, well, I mean, as I explained earlier, he kept spamming out those scans. He got a good idea of what's out there, but he just doesn't have the income anymore because he did throw away all his SCVs, except for essentially the gas SCVs. So now he's hurting for it. He's actually hurting really bad because he could possibly remax if he did have the minerals. Slowly but truly, he's getting there, making a lot of Thors, actually.
Yeah, he's up to 9 already. He's making a lot of Thors, but soO is not going to give him the space or the time of day. He's coming in here with the Broodlords, and here come the Corruptors once again in a huge concave. The Vikings just flying in. Not sure what the story is there. And they're all going to go down regardless. Everything in the air is going to go down, and the Broodlords remain. It looks like soO should be able to close this one out.
Yeah, he's almost there. Nearly there. Just a lot of Thors remaining in the natural, actually. He should be pulling those Corruptors back. There's so many missiles going off. Oh, they're so damaged at this point as well. A lot of reds. And is he actually going to have enough with these Broodlords to take down the Planetary? I don't think so. He's going to get back for now. It may be a Remax again. Mind you, soO's bank is diminishing quite a lot. He's only 30 supply up.
But at the same time, I mean, we got an 85 supply Terran with a problem here with his minerals. Looks like more Broodlords are the answer.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice at this point. There isn't that much in the air anymore. Just make a ton of Broodlords, deal with what's on the ground, which is basically just Thors. Clean it up.
Yeah, he's got 8 Thors, 8 Vikings, now 9 Vikings, and that's about it. Making 5 Vikings at a time. Just trying to fight the Corruptors head on, I guess, but I don't think there's any way you fight this high a number of Corruptors. I don't know.
Not without Ravens especially. You needed those Ravens. They help so much in absorbing damage and dealing damage. And you know what? The entire bank for both players has gone at this point, but with that 80 supply lead from soO, we should be able to close this out.
Here we go. The Concave is on once again. How many Broodlords is this?
That is 15 Broodlords, 45 Corruptors.
Yeah, and YoDa can't even get close to this. He's going to have to sack that base. One sad Hellion is attacking an Extractor back at the natural in the meantime. That
is kind of sad. We're actually seeing everything turn around for it as well. He's like, I got to keep my one base alive. Oh, God. That Hellion could actually do a lot of damage.
It's going into the mineral line, actually, at the quote-unquote 6 base.
5 drones have already gone down.
What?
The power of 3-3 Hellions, man. They 2-shot drones.
That's scary, man.
That is ridiculous.
13 drones remain.
Yeah, that's actually a problem for soO. I think, actually, soO is in a bit of trouble.
He needs to end this map.
He's running out of time. Because there's still mining bases for YoDa, especially the top right, which is full of mules right now. 5 mules on there, giving him all the money he needs. And look at this army that we're seeing from YoDa. YoDa has 24 Vikings, 10 Thors, and he's got 3 Ravens.
Those Ravens the key here. And soO is just not confident to fight this, man. He's going back. I don't know. I guess he feels he needs more units.
I think
he's making roaches.
I think he might lose this game.
There's definitely a chance of it.
He didn't replenish his drones. He essentially just went for like an all-in with his bank, which he used up completely. And now he's got to do the damage. He's got to win the fight and stop the Terran production. Well, Terran's just going to come back again.
Yeah, you can't give him the space here, especially this mining base with all these mules. You got to take that down, and he does.
All right, so he's getting something done, but he's forgotten about everything else. And oh my God, we actually see a few more Hellions come down and do a lot more damage to this one mining base of soO. 10 drones go down to 3 Hellions.
He's got 7 drones left. He's making 8 more, and he wants to continue mining. I don't know why soO never remade any of his bases, really. I mean, he has that middle base. He hasn't made the left one, but he's totally abandoned the one on the right. There's still minerals and gas over there.
He really tunnel visioned on that. I think he just thought he could end it, but he really underestimated the power of Terran, the mules of Terran, and the fact that the Terran still has that top right base completely untouched and has a very full mineral patch. I think the longer that he waits, the worse it's going to be as well. Because these Ravens are out now, the energy is going to be building up over time, and it's just not the same for soO. soO doesn't have that same economy.
And he's got unlimited orbitals as well. So every time soO goes over there and kills a base, another orbital flies out and takes it. It's so funny. You see the Hellions now coming in at the middle base. These 3 roaches are on the case, as well as 13 Broodlords. soO's got to identify the fact that he's retaking that base and shut it down here. More Hellions. 10 of them now, in fact. He's looking to really shut down the economy of soO.
Yeah, he might as well. Now that Terran has an excess in minerals, might as well use it for something. And Hellions, they're definitely strong enough to do this kind of thing. And we're actually going to see a lot more drones go down, which is, I think it's pretty much the one weakness that soO has right now is that his economy is in shambles because he just never remade it to the point where he ran out of bank, and now he's scrounging for enough minerals to make drones. And that mineral patch is going to be completely wiped out, and quite possibly the hatchery too if he so decides to put them into Hellbats, which he might just do after all these drones go down.
Looks like Su's response here is to go for the attack. Not even dealing with the Hellions right now. Looks like he's sending some roaches over there, just the 3. That's not enough. Orbital will go down. Hellbats are made. All 17 drones are done. He's got 0 drones right now.
He is starting out. He's actually running out of gas. And now, with this fleet of Vikings, how many? Let me have a quick look at how many Vikings we have. 30 Vikings. He can actually kite exactly what soO has. He can shoot and run until he's over the turrets and mass Thors again. And there is nothing soO could do.
YoDa's being so annoying with those Hellions. He keeps 4 of them alive, and now he's going to the middle base.
There's nothing left for soO. He doesn't have an economy anymore. He doesn't have any drones anymore. There's nothing
Either
left.
needs to win the fight and just wipe out the Terran now, or he needs to remake his economy somehow. YoDa's not letting him do that.
He can't win a fight. There's no way he can win a fight now.
Why did he give the Terran so much space and time?
I think he just tunnel visioned a little too hard. And here we go. Finally, we're going to see YoDa move out. He's got so many Vikings.
Oh, the Seeker missiles coming down on all of those Broodlords. Broodlords moving forward into the Corruptors. The splash damage is huge. And look at all those Vikings.
Simply too many Vikings, too many Thors. And from here, I think it's just going to be over. I think soO just ran out of steam, which can happen, especially against a mech Terran like this. But, I mean, he did throw away his economy for it. He threw away his bank for it. And he should be getting cleaned up now that we see every Broodlord be eliminated. There's nothing left for these Thors. GG.
GG. YoDa able to take a game off of an SK Telecom Zerg in soO, and he's going to keep Prime's hope alive. And we're going to see that game number 4.
Bit of a drawn-out one that time, and a bit of a disappointing display from soO in the end. Just not finding the answer he needed, using all that bank. And we are going to go for game 4, which I'm excited about personally. It's going to be a nice TVT to possibly end things. We're going to see the debut of Keen for Prime.
Yep, but he is going up against Dream, one of these newer. I mean, he's not new. He's been around for a long time, but he's like newly really good. Part of this SK Telecom team now. He's really grown as a player, and he's extremely strong, especially against Zerg. He's 0-1 in Pro League 2015 in terms of Terrans. But I'm going to show you he's pretty good in the matchup. I remember some other TBTs that he's played outside in individual leagues were decent.
Beat Maru.
Yeah, it's more than decent, actually.
That's pretty amazing.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's a very strong TVT. I think he's even said himself that he's unbeatable in TVT in practice. So very, very scary matchup for Keen, especially as his debut match. You know, he's going to be under a lot of pressure to show what he's got here today because we haven't seen him